Following up from Sunday's live stream and Saturday's live stream as well, from a journalistic point of view, I find it a little bit difficult not to have the time to ask all the questions that I want to ask and celebrate the things that we should celebrate. And one of the things that happened on Sunday is that we did get a chance to talk to Steve, but not as winner. So Steve, first of all, many congratulations on getting the win. So this is the sort of winner's podium interview. Talk us through that process of maybe coming into TTs and moving up to that first win in your second weekend.
Well, I mean, it's been a real tough process for us over the winter. Obviously, we've changed car, we've changed team, we've changed obviously into front wheel drive, onto the semi slick. It's the amount of learning that we've had to do has been quite phenomenal, and we've not really had too much time in the car. We went onto Brands still suffering with a clutch issue, which turned out to be something that wasn't in the clutch system entirely, and it was really difficult at Brands for us. We came away from the weekend feeling quite deflated, shall we say, because the team Area Motorsport had thrown everything out of the car to try and make it work on changing something on the car between every single session on Friday, every single session between the qualifying and the racing, and nothing worked, and we were just all really deflated about it. And then they went away, made some other changes to the car, and then they finally found the problem, which was some movement in the crank, which was causing the clutch to kind of just not be how it was supposed to be. And then we took it out for a day at Donington the week before Snetterton just to check that it was okay, and it was. So it was kind of like almost starting from not square one, but it was the first time in the car on that Friday at Snetterton that was a proper day of what I'd see as learning, without having a load of problems with the car and struggling and not being able to focus on just driving. So I think Friday was a massive learning curve. We learned a lot. It was the first day I was properly able to get into looking at data and looking at how I can improve, because I think one of the biggest changes for us has been the way that I've set the car up for rear wheel drive. It's not working for how it is for front wheel drive. So that for me is learning how to change my driving style to suit the front wheel drive is the thing that's a bit of a stumbling block at the minute. But we've made massive progress over the weekend, and I think I didn't even realise that it was in the regs that there was a reverse grid in the championships. I probably should have seen that beforehand. And my dad he rung me at 7:00 when we were on the track walk with Driven Minds, which was a fantastic initiative from those guys. There was a lot of people who turned up, so that was a really good track walk, I felt. And on the way back from that, we got a call from my dad saying you're on pole for tomorrow, and I was like, didn't know that was in the regs, but okay, we'll take that. And then obviously it came to the grid. What's that? Would have been my fifth start in front wheel drive in a turboed car. We've done 7 years of natural aspirated, so I know how to get a Mazda off the line, but we're still struggling with getting it off the line. So Adam, he had a fantastic start. I think he reacted a little bit quicker than me to the lights as well. And then he just kind of led from there. I think it was a safety car for a couple of laps. And then to be honest, I was quite happy just sat in second. I was like, given where we've come from and all the upset we've had over the winter, and to be where we were, then I was quite happy to take a podium. And then obviously on the way home, we found out that it was going to be changed to a win. And I mean, a win's a win. I'll take it. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what it was that they found on his car that was against the regulations, but I think it's a credit to the BRSCC for in these single make championships, as we've seen in Mazdas over the years, the level of scrutineering in really tight championships does need to be really tight in order to keep it fair. And I think, if they found something in the second weekend that is, being able to set a precedent for the rest of the season, just to make sure that people are, following the rules and the regulations which are set out, I think that's, obviously credit to the scrutineers. So, I'll take the win. I feel sorry for Adam that he's, had that taken away, but obviously I've got to take it.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you and Adam going wheel to wheel again in the future. I'm sure it's going to happen. The two main similarities for me, obviously, you as a Mazda champion, the two main similarities to me are the quality of drivers in the Mazda field, the numbers of cars as well. So you've got a fantastic grid and also top quality drivers throughout. But it is different, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel like I was saying to my girlfriend on the way home that I feel like the demographic of the Audis there's a lot of older drivers with a lot more experience. I feel like with the Mazdas there was a lot of up and coming karters that were coming through that were a little bit quite adventurous with their moves, like, quite exciting. Like Ted Bradbury last year, he was a standout for me as somebody who's very up and coming. I feel like the Audi Championships, people who are already quite well established within the motorsport world, and there for the same reasons. Obviously, everybody wants to win, but it's a completely different kettle of fish. I feel like, in the Mazdas, it was all about the toe. It was all about working together when you needed to, and with this, there's virtually no toe, and I feel like the strategy for overtaking, the strategy for qualifying, everything is just how you can build a weekend to be good is completely different to what we're used to. So again, it's one of the reasons again why we came into this, is because it's just a completely new challenge. There's nothing the same as what I've done in the past, and can we do well in something that is so far away from what we're used to? So to come away with a podium, I know it's a reverse grid, so it's not, I'm not taking it as a proper win. I feel like if I get a proper win in race 1 or 2, then that'll probably feel slightly better than a reverse grid. But it's building up to that, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. And championship wise, I mean, tons of drivers, and I think you're 7th in the standings, 7th or 8th in the standings.
I've not even looked at them. That is after Brands, and we were just like, well, there's no, we came into the season knowing that this was going to be a learning year, and that's very much how I'm looking at it this year. Like last year, we were looking at the scores at the end of every race, thinking, are we okay here? And I think we got to like the end of the 5th round, and we were like, right, okay, we've got a nice cushion here. But this year, I'm like, let's just see where we end up. Just carry on trying to score points and see where we end up. If we're in the mix for like a top 3 finish in the championship come the end of the year, then I'll probably start thinking about it. But for the time being, there's just so many other things to concentrate on and so many other things to learn that I'm trying to just keep it to a minimum of how many things I have to think about.
Have you, talking about learning, have you got to unlearn it now? Because I think you're going out at Alton Park in the Mazda. Obviously, the next round of the TTs is Alton Park, but I hear that you're going out in the Mazdas again this coming weekend.
Yeah, I am out in the Mazda this weekend. Alton Park's my local circuit. It's where we decided that we were going to go motor racing back in 2016. We went with our friend Roger to go and see I think it was the Gold Cup, and when it used to be on the bank holiday weekend in August, and we went down there, and I remember very vividly sat in the sun, watching all these classics go around, talking about how we could get into racing. So Alton Park holds a very special place in my mind. It's about 20 miles down the road for me. I've been there God knows how many times. I'm an instructor there as well for MSV now. So it's a very special place for me. I've done a lot of laps around there, and it's not often that it comes up in the calendar because of the nature of the one-day event. I think we've already raced there like maybe 3 times in the 7 years that we were doing Masters. So it's, it came up on the calendar. I was like, there's no chance that we're going to be missing that. And, to be then going back, running number 1 on the door, it's going to be quite a special weekend. So I can't wait for that one.
Steve, tell us a little bit about the people that have helped you along the way on the journey so far.
Yeah, so I think the team that we've kind of built on from who we had last year. There's Dave at Urban Design and Consult. My dad, obviously, can't go without saying my daddy is the backbone of the team. My girlfriend Sophie, she's played a massive part in just supporting me mentally over the weekends. Roger, who's been my long-term race mentor, who's unfortunately he's kind of taken a little bit more of a backseat for this season because he's got other commitments that he's getting on a bit now. I think he's 74 this year. So he's taking some time out with his wife and whatnot after spending 7 years coming to like every meeting with us. So he's very much in the background still. And then this year we've got a new sponsor who's come on board in James Dodd and Meal Group, who he's been a fantastic addition to the team, and also Katie Foster as our kind of like photographer and person who's looking after the social media for us. And she's been another important role in the team. And I think it's just building on who we had last year, and myself, obviously, I think I'm supposed to fit somewhere in the team. And obviously Area Motorsport, who have Rob Baker, and my mechanic for the year is Jake Burns, who works for ProDrive. He's very, very, Area have been absolutely fantastic in just helping us get this car to be where it is this weekend. So, massive thanks to everybody who's involved, and I can't wait to get going again at Alton Park for our home round in a couple of weeks' time.
Sadly, I have to miss the Alton Park one because I think I'm on duty for work elsewhere for the
Oh,
TT
no.
meeting. But I will catch up with you a little bit later on in the season. So, Steve Foden, thank you very much for agreeing to come on, and we've set that straight now. We've done our winners interview. Not quite on the podium, but a virtual podium. So well done on the first win in the Audi TT Championship, and
Thank you.
hopefully we'll get to do this again for real at the track. So thanks again and well done.
Hopefully. Thanks.